Okay, so this is where we left off. Three forms of a quadratic: standard form, factored form, vertex form. In Algebra 1-2 or Compact Year 2, you learned how to rewrite the quadratic in one form and into another form. So factored form and vertex form, there's no direct way to rewrite these in the other form. Factored form can be written in standard form by using the FOIL method. If you recall, the product of the first terms, outside terms, inside terms, and the last terms. The sum of those four simplified would give you x squared minus 8x plus 12. From there, you can go to the vertex form by completing the square. So in pencil, you can factor a quadratic in standard form to get the factored form. Factored by grouping, if the leading coefficient is not 1, you want to factor by grouping. Using FOIL or an area model to go from factored to standard, and from standard to vertex form, use completing the square. So what does it mean to complete the square? So this is a perfect square trinomial. Perfect square trinomial because it can be written as a perfect square, the square of x subtract 7. The product of the first terms, x squared, outside terms, negative 7x, inside terms, negative 7x. The sum is negative 14x. The product of the last terms, negative 7 squared, is 49. Now that's a perfect square trinomial. How do we rewrite our original equation here, which is in standard form, into vertex form? You need a square number that is the constant on the end. Now, what's the relationship between the square and the middle term? Half the middle term squared is the constant. Half of negative 14 is negative 7. Square that, you get 49. If I take half of a negative 8, I get negative 4. Negative 4 squared. Negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16. Now I have a 12. I need 16 there. And the only way I can include a 16 here in the trinomial is to either add it here, add a 4 here to the 12 to make 16, and add a 4 on the other side of the equation to keep it balanced. Or I can subtract 12 from both sides and then add a 16 to this side and a 16 to that side. That takes a little bit longer. Or there's a third way I prefer, if you practice this a lot. You know you need an additional 4 here. Well, I can add 4 to that side of the equation. And I can subtract 4 at the same time. I don't need to add 4 to both sides. I can simply add 4 here and then take it away on the same side of the equation. Now, if I add these up, I get x squared subtract 8x plus 16 and subtract 4. I can rewrite the trinomial, which is now a perfect square trinomial, as x subtract 4 squared, the sum of negative 4x plus negative 4x, negative 8x, negative 4 squared is 16, subtract 4. That is vertex form. So how are these useful? Standard form shows you the y-intercept of the parabola is 12. Vertex form shows you the vertex, which is at 4, negative 4. And factored form shows you the x-intercepts, the values of x that will make y 0. 0 equals 2 subtract 2 times 2 subtract 6. But it also 0 equals 6 subtract 2 times 6 subtract 6. So 6 and 2 would be your x-intercepts. You need to be comfortable with all three versions or all three forms of the quadratic. And if you need to review, see me during AL time or get a recommendation by email or messaging Canvas to Khan Academy videos. But again, this is review. This is stuff that should have been learned in Algebra 1, 2. If it's not yet, we will support you, but we need to get through this material and start using this stuff in context.